Let's look at the reported rift between Tinubu and the FCT minister, talking about Wike. We are looking at this as it has to do with the reported absence of Wike in the Federal Executive Council meeting, where he reportedly sent his, of course, the Minister of State for FCT to represent him. But as we have it, we understand that in the past, Tinubu himself threw jab at the man, Wike himself, giving condition upon which he may fire him. But I want you to take a look at it so that we take it off from there. Just take a look at this.
I remember the day Wike came to me and said, please, take us out of this problem of TSA so that I can do more work and achieve more. And I said, okay, show me what you're about to do. And he presented himself. And I threw in my own political jibe. Say, will that give me any opportunity for my party to win election in I say, I know where you are coming from, your own party or my party. But if this thing goes too much in your own favor, you will lose your job. So, okay, we will settle that, okay.
So, having heard from Tinubu himself, you got to show that this is a man who knows his onion, who is actually in charge, who know when to draw the curtain. Because from what I can understand, you got to show that all the power people think a wicked wheat. He's only exercising that because Tinubu has allowed them to be doing that. It got to show that without Tinubu, a wicked have no power. I think that is what the president demonstrated in this speech, where he made it clear that there are some red line the FCT minister must not cross. That if he crosses it, he loses his job. I think it is very clear we get that understanding. Okay, but going further into this conversation, let's look at this tweet from Sahara Reporters that, of course, trying to prove that there's actually a rift between the man Tinubu and the FCT minister. He says, exclusive, despite denial, videos show Wike boycotted Council of State meeting. Same Minister of State amid rift with Tinubu. That came from Sahara Reporters. I will bring you the video, of course, that showed the moment the Minister of State for FCT was spotted in that meeting. I think in all of this, the Sahara Reporters have done an in-depth investigation to have come up with this, of course, conclusion. But again, you may feel it's speculative, but let us equally look at another tweet from the same Sahara Reporters, which, of course, will actually make you have a sense of what we are discussing further. This one is equally coming from Sahara Reporters. Watch. Wike sent his deputy, FCT Minister of State, Maria Mahmood, to attend the council meeting. His spokesperson lied about and claimed he wasn't supposed to be at. Okay, at this point, let me allow you to watch that short video where the woman was spotted in that meeting, so that we'll take it off from there.
Some of you who arrived earlier would have seen the Honorable Minister of State in situ, but the Honorable Minister has requested her to attend the Council of State meeting, and in order for her not to be late, this is why she departed quite early before the Minister arrived.
So having listened to that conversation that ensued in that meeting, that actually proved that the FCT Minister for State actually attended that meeting. But again, let's look at this from the angle of another proof coming from the same Sahara Reporters, because all we are doing is to bring you information to buttress what we are discussing. This one equally comes from Sahara Reporters. He's saying, Wike boycotts Council of State meeting. Army rifts as Tinubu snubs his candidate, appoints Amu Peter, INEC chairman. And we cannot independently verify whether Wike had a candidate in that issue of INEC chairman. But what we understand is that it is the president that had the prerogative to make appointments. However, it is not out of place for the president to ask individuals who are perhaps his close ally to make recommendation and maybe force same to him. But from what the, of course, Sahara reporter is reporting here, it's going to show that a Wike actually had a candidate. Perhaps the president asking to force such. I don't know. We don't have the authenticity of that information. But the point is, we know that there was a Council of State meeting where the president presented the nominee or his intention to who he intended to nominate to the Council of State, and upon the advice, he actually made the man a nominee, which we understand will be sent to the Senate anytime from now for screening and confirmation. We understand that once it's confirmed, definitely he will sworn in to become the substantive INEC chairman. But in all of this, I think what is important is we are looking at the power that a Wike wield in the system, and from what we can understand, it is very clear that the president knows his onion. It's very clear that without the president, he cannot wield any power. Because if you look at the way the president, talking about Tinubu, made that statement, where he drew the line, of course, we understand that even if it's a jab, that is obviously a red line, telling the man that if you cross this line, you'll be fired. And I think the man, Wike, should know where the red line is. But as we have it, the politics of 2027 is already setting in. And we understand that the reason Wike got that position is because of the cooperation he cooperated with the then candidate of APC in that 2023 presidential election, talking about Senator Bola Tinubu, who is now the president. And as we have it, election is forthcoming. And Wike is believed to be holding sway for the president in Rivers State. And the way it is, the president seems to have consolidated power in Rivers State, because the situation where after the lifting of suspension of the governor of Rivers State, talking about Fubara have come out clearly to, of course, recognize the president, and of course, not just recognize the president, they have come out to make his alliance to the president. So the way it is likely that even if Fubara will eventually work for the re-election of the man Tinubu himself. But it's yet to be seen how other political players in that state will articulate their interests. But what is certain, a week before now I made it very clear that for the purpose of 2027, that is going to work for his principal. Talking about Senator Bola Tinubu. So the issue of rift between himself and of course the president, we cannot independently verify the veracity of the claim are reported by Sahara reporters and other people who have been tweeting. But one undeniable fact is that we can clearly see a video of the Minister of State for SCT who attended fake meeting, for the Executive Council meeting. And the other one, though, is speculative. The tweet that came from Sahara reporters, which I said we cannot independently verify the veracity, talking about the president snubbing the candidate of Wike for INEC chairmanship position and appointing his preferred candidates. We understand that definitely it is the prerogative of the president to determine who to nominate. Hence, it is not out of place, like I said earlier on, for the president to ask any of his close ally to give him names. But it's not clear whether such thing transpired. But what is clear is that the president, upon nomination, the person will have to face the Senate for screening and confirmation. Once the person passed through that process, the person will eventually be sworn in as the substantive INEC chairman. But let me say that there are so many tasks ahead of the chairman if he eventually make it to become the substantive chairman. Because as we speak, the public have lost confidence in the ability of the umpire, talking about the INEC, to conduct free, fair, and credible election. Particularly owing to the fact that INEC was not able to live up to expectation in the 2023 presidential election. We understand that before that 2020 presidential election, had a situation where INEC came out clearly to say they were going to transmit election results electronically. And that is after the Constitution, talking about the Electoral Act, gave them the liberty, the power of discretion to determine the mode of transmission of election results. But to have it at the nick of time, they reneged and they gave excuse of network glitch. I must say that most Nigerians did not believe that there was a genuine network glitch. But to have it, the rest is history, because even as Nigerians disagree with the position of INEC, the election results of 2023 was subjected to litigation. But in the wisdom of Supreme Court, they still legitimized the result as declared by INEC that pronounced the man, Senator Ahmed Bola Tinubu, as the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But the question is, we'll be going into another round of election in 2027. Are we saying that that same electoral act that most Nigerians have believed that it is susceptible to manipulation, are we saying that it will be good to go into another round of election with that electoral act? Because in my own opinion, I'm on the view that it is better we deepen that aspect of the electoral act, particularly section 82, that deals with the mode of transmission of election results. I'm on the view that we amend that section further and remove the power of liberty, the discretionary power from INEC. Let us give them specific. Let the electoral act compel INEC that you must transmit election results electronically. And let us have it that anything in exception will render the result of the election null and void. I think that way would have reduced some level of human interference that we often see that characterize the Nigerian election, that makes it not to be credible. Because to speak, the election in Nigeria during that 2023 presidential election, I never made us to understand that they were going to transmit election results electronically, specifically from the polling unit level. That after the votes, after the voting, upon completion of counting of votes, that the result sheets, talking about from EC8A, will be snapped with the beavers and sent to the IRF, the IRF viewing portal, where all the stakeholders, whether international observers, local observers, media organizations, and of course political parties, can see the result as a trickling in. I want to say that at that level, individuals, political parties, stakeholders can collate the result in their own situation room. Meaning, as INEC have their own situation room, people can equally have their own situation room, getting result from the same IRF, tabulating it. And ultimately, it ought to tally because it's from the same source. But unfortunately, Nigerians did not get that opportunity because of the excuse of network glitch. And we understand that the process of, if you resort to manual collation, is susceptible to manipulation. Because by the time you start moving election results, result sheets, from polling units to one level to local government to states, from state to Abuja. In the process of moving it, of course, the integrity of the ballot may have been compromised. That is why I'm of the view that before we go into the next round of election, let us have the electoral act reviewed, particularly that section 82, and compel INEC with the constitution, particularly the electoral act, to say that you must transmit election results electronically. X, let the result be null and void. I want to say that with technology, we have gotten to that level. Because this reminds me of a revelation that came from a former House of Assembly member from Borno State, who chronicled how some machineries the Jonathan government brought into the country were leveraging on technology to fight Boko Haram. And according to him, they were going for precision bombing, coming back with results before and after bombing. And they were leveraging on network, they were leveraging on technology. So if they could do that in the Northeast, in Sambisa Forest, leveraging on technology, leveraging on communication. So I want to believe that transmission of election results electronically is not going to be a challenge if we have sincerity of purpose, and if those who pilot the affairs of INEC are sincere. Now, to have it, INEC is the end user of the Electoral Act. So that is why the integrity of those who are appointed to manage INEC must be top-notch. whether at the level of the INEC chairman himself, whether at the level of the national commissioners, whether at the level of the 36 resident INEC commissioners, we must have people with proven integrity. Because I must say that as it stands, there's perception out there that INEC is not credible. That INEC, of course, they probably have lost confidence in INEC. Because if you look at what is coming from Nigerians since the nomination of the Amuputa as the INEC to be chairman, you can clearly see that every argument points to asking the man to redeem the image of INEC. Every argument points to the fact that people are saying, let us give him benefit of doubt. Hence, he have not done anything in the past that is known to the public to assess him in terms of credibility of managing the process of this nature. So Nigerians are now saying, let us give him benefit of doubt. And I want to believe that the man will come out clean. Because the position of INEC chairmanship, for me, as far as I'm concerned, is sensitive. It's sensitive because you are looking at the life and destiny of over 200 million Nigerians. Because as far as I'm concerned, if you fail to get it right with the electoral process, we have gotten everything wrong. Because if we get it right and ensure that leaders, whether governors, House of Assembly members, senators, House of Rep members, even the president himself, if we are sure that they can only get to the office through the ballots, I want to say that going forward, they'll be responsible to the people. But if they know that there's a way they can perpetrate themselves into office without recourse or reverting to the ballot, of course, that is when they start doing things with impunity. Power, they say corrupt, absolute power, corrupt, absolutely. I think it's part of the consequence of what we face as a people in our current democracy. But let us pray that the current chairmanship or rather leadership of INEC will get it right by introducing reforms that will ultimately see us getting free, fair, and credible election come 2027. But I must say a very big thank you for time. This is Sabla Milan.